clone troopers, also known as Republic troopers and Republic soldiers, and nicknamed the Boys in White, were highly trained soldiers in the Grand Army of the Republic, representing the future of galactic warfare. Clones were designed to be far superior to battle droids. During the last years of the Galactic Republic, clones formed the backbone of the Republic military. They waged war against the droid armies of the Confederacy of the Independent Systems. The Clone Wars was named after the Republic's clone army, which became symbolic of the conflict that had spread throughout the galaxy after a millennia of peace. Hello and welcome to Centurions Corner Clone Collection, and thank you all so much for asking to see my collection. It is my pride and joy. So most of these will be my customs, which are made of bootleg figures that you can buy from AliExpress, but some I include in the Hasbro figures as well because I like to incorporate them. Some I have done a few sort of modifications too, so we will be going through every single clone figure that I own. And so we will be starting off and going through each battalion in numeric order, and then going through to the last sort of bits that can't really fit in line with others, or they're just on their own. So without further ado, let's get this started. Starting it off is the 41st Elite Corps, and also, ironic enough, it starts off with my first ever custom, which was Commander Gree. Now, if this guy completely didn't go according to plan, then I definitely wouldn't be here, that's for sure. So, yeah, I mean, I remember sort of combining his colour to get that green, creating this as well. This was the second one around, as it's created out of milliput and a ribbon. With any of these that you see of my customs, most of these actually have a making of on the channel. So if you're new, then just look back into the tutorials or work in progress and you'll see those. Next up is Gree Phase 2. I haven't touched this guy at all. He's actually just the Hasbro release. I do always kind of find this guy a little bit offish. I'm not too sure. Kind of like my clones white. The silver, the army colours, I get why people love him, but it's just particularly not my type of style for a clone. And his legs at the bottom are really gummy. And next up in this lineup is actually Dra, and yeah, this one I just quickly made off the bat, just got the same colours that I did for Gree. Very simplistic design, as he's kind of like a named grunt, and yeah, I really enjoyed making this guy, and I kind of look forward to actually making more 41st clones as well, as I kind of like them to be a threesome rather than a twosome. So on to the next. So the 91st Recon Corps, and starting off the bat we have Commander Pons. Now this is the first one I kind of really liked that wasn't really like a named clone as much as Cody and Rex. And when I got my Mace Windu figure I was like, he needs a clone. So I went out and made this guy. Still holding the Bridge of Time. I have reweathered this guy to bring him a little bit more into line with my latest customs, and also upgrading his skirt. These are the old kind of holsters on here. They're made of milliput, so they need upgrading to 3D prints. But yeah, he's still holding the Bridge of Time and looking pretty dandy on the shelf. And next up is Commander Neo from Revenge of the Sith, and yeah, still pretty cool. I do think his head sometimes is slightly a little bit too small, so I think I might need to upgrade the actual helmet sculpt a little bit. And still got all those bits on the back and his weathering as well, and still looking pretty cool. So that's those two. On to the next. Next up is the 104th Wolf Pack, and all I have for these guys are just the two. So we have Commander Wolf. That I've upgraded his helmet. I had a spare one left over once I started doing some phase 2s and stuff like that, so I gave him a phase 1 helmet, and just absolutely loving it, and brings more life to this figure. I think with the Hasbro body, this bit here, like the skirt and all that, needs upgrading. It just looks too small, but I just don't like really sort of upgrading the official ones too much. But I'm getting more kind of confident, so I think later down the line I will do that. I still got his extra head and his helmet on the side when I want to change it over for pictures. And his other brethren is Comet, and this is the ones where I started getting a little bit more into weathering and bringing in that kind of sort of dusting and carbon scoring on there, but not taking too much away from the actual paintwork and stuff on there, and using the gel pen to do his shoulder bells, and still looking pretty cool. So that's Wolfpack. On to the next. Next up is the 212th Battalion, which is my favourite battalion, and it's run by Commander Cody. Now I'm still waiting for Phase 2 Commander Cody to release in the Archive Edition, but nonetheless I do have him in the Phase 1. So we have a 3D painted head into the actual design of the Clone Trooper, and I have re-weathered him since making him, just to give him off that kind of more dirtier kind of look-esque on him. And these are looking pretty sure and mean. The other two are exactly the same in the armour form, it's just their helmets that separate them, and actually these were my second and third customs that I created. And these are the first time I actually fell in love with clones. Waxer and Boyle on that first sort of like series with the Battle of Ryloth. Yeah, absolutely, and these are my favourite clones that I have made as well. So we've got the tally chart on there, we've got the droid and all that on part on there, and his whole body as well. I haven't re-weathered these have got their original weathering on there, so it's kind of sort of just faded away over time. Next up is Boyle, just with that droid ship on there on his head and around on the back, and looking pretty the same. So that's the 212th. Let's go to the next. So, the 327th Star Battalion, and only one character, but we have him in Phase 1 and Phase 2, Commander Bly. Now this one I've re-weathered, as you can see, he's a little bit more darker now. I've updated his kind of skirt part and also his holsters, but they're still the milliput and still need the 3D printing. And this bit doesn't work as good as it used to, as it has fallen off many a times off the shelf and here, there and everywhere. But nonetheless, we can take a little quick closer look at him, and I think the actual colour match is pretty nice, sort of like transition between the two, and I'm quite glad now that I have him on the shelf in both phases. So with phase 2, all I done was add that extra bit of brown on there as we got this figure through, and he was missing that part. So there is a video down the line fixing Commander Bly if you wanted to add that onto your figure. Apart from that, he's just exactly the same, haven't weathered him up at all, and he just sits on the shelf next to himself. So that's Star Corps, on to the next. So next up is the 501st Legion, the boys in blue, and these guys keep expanding, and I still want to keep creating them and making them even bigger. So first up, we do have Echo over here. I have re-revered these guys to bring them all into line to make a match, so they kind of look like they're all in the same battle. So we have got an extra lot of dark scratching and carbon scoring all over him, and also I've chipped away at their paint as well. And we've still got the logo for Heavy on his leg. Oh, we do miss you, Heavy. We do miss you. Next up, we have Fives, and again, we weathered and obviously all the extra chips and everything on there as well, just to bring him in line with his brethren. Still looking pretty fine and dandy. Next up is Jessie, which was kind of like a newish custom actually. I think it's a few sort of months ago maybe. This guy hit the shelves, well, hit the channel. I'm really quite glad how his sort of logo turned out the top, and where I made this guy is why I started weathering up those guys to bring them into line, as my weathering skills, I think for myself, started to get a little bit better. And next up is Danelle, with his removable jetpack that we have on the back, stuck together with the magnet, and again same chip-ins and everything just to bring him into line with that really nice glossy blue over the top. And then from him we just have a little bit more of an upgraded Captain Rex. His head does spin very easily. I literally just made this helmet just so it's kind of there for pictures really. I would love to get another Captain Rex body and make him into one of these guys, so I have the phase 1 and phase 2 Rex. But for the time being, I just literally just use the phase 2 body, and I've got the head and the helmet somewhere else. But this can just simply just pop off as of when needed. But most of the time, I keep him as a phase 1. So that's the boys in blue. Let's go on to the next. So here we have the Senate Guard, and we've got a full shelf again. So this one, we're starting off with Commander Stone. I have, as you can see, re-weathered Stone, Fire and Phil, and just to bring them more into line. I've updated their sort of holsters and Kamaras just to get them into place. So with Stone, I was happy with his colour. It was more closer to the 3.75 kind of figure. So I didn't actually change him at all. So it's kind of a bit of that sort of browny red that we have for him, and is looking pretty epic. I haven't changed anything on the side there, so it's just the first painted kind of Senate kind of guard logo that I've left on there. With Fire, I did upgrade him. I just felt he was too dark. He was exactly the same colour as Stone, but I just found he was a bit too dark. So over the top of that kind of browny red, I just put a light colour of red over the top, and actually used a white gel pen to actually highlight the detail on the side. And I'm happy with him now. Beforehand I was never really that happy with him, but I am actually happy with him now, and that colour. And yeah, I do enjoy him, and I really want to make his two guys. I think it was Jax and Reese from the first Clone Wars episode, Ambush. So next up is Commander Fox. This is just a general Hasbro release. I haven't done anything to this guy. Is how you get him out of the packet. and that's how he just stands on the shelf. And but it's pretty cool to have Commander Fox, even though how much I do hate him. And also we have Commander Phil, and he's quite a recent guy that I've quite made, but I have actually gone over the top of him just because I do have a problem with the sort of red colour, like the 3.75. It was always a browny red, and to me it looked a bit too dark, and red is my favourite colour, but I find like the red is probably a bit too bright, and it's never as close as it is to the Shock Trooper. So I did actually dull his redness down. As you can see, I've just used a sort of a duller red just over the top, just to sort of bring it off slightly around on the sides. But this is a really up-to-date one, as I've got the 3D parts and everything on there for him. So that is the Senate Guard. Next up are kind of my two latest customs from Battlefront 2, and pretty much my favourite characters that I enjoy playing as. So as my favourite backup character is the Jet Trooper, and I always play as a Phase 1 because, you know, I'm kind of biased. And he comes in like this cool black colour as well, which is kind of unusual for like a clone trooper to come in like, you know, like the black colour. We've got the removal backpack, same as Denell, which just clicks on the back. And looking pretty cool and dandy, if I do say so myself. And obviously my literally latest custom, which was the last of the 2020, is the Heavy Trooper, who's a Shock Trooper, who's the Senate Guard, but I put him under the category of Battlefront 2 because that's where he's from. And we've got his nice heavy rotational cannon and extra weathering again. So yeah, you can see the sort of like the beginnings to the end of my sort of thing, and you can see it's like a progression kind of thing. But they're the two from Battlefront 2, and I guess on to the next. So next up are two captains, and pretty much two completely captains, because we have Captain Fordo, who kind of is in Legends and not really into canon anymore. And he was one of my first sort of customs. He was a bootleg figure, which was just a normal captain, but I just changed him into a few extra bits and added on his kind of cannon pit on the side here, with his wrist gauntlet, and extra parts on here. And customising two DC carbines into pistols as well. I've updated his Camara as well, and yeah, I think I have re-weathered this guy just recently as well, just to bring him into line with the rest. And then we have Commander Keeley, or Captain Keeley, which is why he's in this category, and he's looking badass, and I'm really glad how this guy come out. I was literally so scared of making this guy, but yeah, I'm really chuffed how he did actually turn out in the end. But here are the captains. So I guess on to the next. So here we are, onto the last stretch now. So these are the Special Forces. One is a bit of an odd out. It's a 182nd Clone Trooper that I decided to do in a Phase 1. And he probably needs a little bit more of an update on the weathering side. But I kind of like the clean cut with the kind of few little bits of grubbiness just around him. So he's pretty cool. As I was told, I needed to have a purple clone on my shelf, so then I created him. Next up is the Bomb Squad, and again, probably needs a little bit more weathering on there, but I think he's got enough on there. I don't want to take too much away from the orange and stuff, but there's nonetheless that other one on the shelf. And I absolutely love this guy. I just think he looks pretty cool. I'm glad how he turned out. And also we have the Shadow Trooper, or Shadow Clone Trooper. That's quite recent, with that nice gloss black and the grey over there and stuff on there. And he actually looks really like badass, and I'm really glad again how this one turned out, and he's pretty cool. So on to the next. So here they are, kind of like the animated style. So the two on the end are Hasbro kind of new releases. Haven't really kind of changed this guy much. No extra weathering or anything on the actual armour. All I've done was change his leg stripes as they were wrong. And also we gave this guy a removable helmet and to get to his face underneath. Next up as well was the other 332nd clone, which we just done, and gave him a removable helmet as well. Not too sure how the paint stayed on him, but still comes out alright. Gave him a bit more of a weathering up, just to bring him a little bit more up to date with the other clones. And then also, which was the original one I made when these guys first come out and these weren't confirmed yet, that I did a 332nd custom clone, which is basically the 501st design with the Captain Rex helmet that I painted over to make into a Phase 2 helmet. You can see like the marks and all that on there. So I actually have really got a spare body here that I might actually make into another custom at one point, but I'm not too sure. It's got to be something that completely covers all this up, or I might make this a little bit better and get a 3D printed Phase 2 helmet and make him into an actual sort of 501st Phase 2 clone trooper. So that's those three guys. On to the last two. Last but no means least, which is the Attack of the Clones troopers. Again, these are bootlegs, and I need the lieutenant still, which I still don't want to get the official one because the blue is slightly off. I still need the yellow one as well, but what I'm thinking of doing down the line is actually buying a brand new set of 5, having a rookie, well, shiny, plus all the other colours, and actually customizing them myself so they've got a nice shiny look over them. Because for some reason the bootleg green, the actual armour itself, like the white, is actually green as well. So I might actually just turn this one into another clone at some point and paint completely over him. And the same for this one as well. I've done all the sort of scratch marks and stuff on there, but I might actually get my red paint and go back over these parts so it's a nice shiny one, and get the blue and the yellow and stuff like that. So I've actually got all of them all in line with the right colours, and that's what I might do at a later date. So that kind of brings me to the end. So here they are, in their pride and glory, every single clone that I own and have customised. We have reached the end of the video. So a bit of a personal message out there. Thank you once again. It's coming up to 2,000 subscribers. It's coming up to the end of the year. This is the last video that I'll be putting out before Christmas. I'm going to take a little rest, and maybe I might have one that will come out by the end of the new year, maybe like a top 5 or something like that. So once again, thank you so much for every like, follow, subscribe, any kind of support for the channel. It means so much. And to anyone that has done anything like that, or even if you haven't and you just stumble onto this video, have a merry Christmas and have an amazing new year, because do you know what, we all deserve it, because it's gone completely crud this year. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you once again. And if you'd like to subscribe to see more clones which will flourish, because I think by the end of 2021 I'm going to need a new table. And you can comment down below. You can even follow me on Instagram, which is in the description, where you will see many of these boys making an appearance. And that's kind of it. So again, have a great Christmas everybody, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.